Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my Flutter tutorials. And in this video we are going to make something again very interesting. So we are going to make an Instagram UI clone. So we will clone the UI of Instagram and actually the only home page basically for now. So after that we can actually update it in future videos, but that's not the thing. So why I am making this Instagram clone, that should be your first question. So we are making this to understand how to visualize the UI and how to integrate all the components together to make a maybe a layout, or you can say to make a screen out of it. So I know that many of you have issues while making screens, so that is why I thought about making another clone, so that because you have a familiarity with that particular application, and then we can obviously make it. So before proceeding to this project, let me just tell you about my this Flutter example apps repository, which completed 302 stars from you guys. And thank you so much for loving this project. And again, you can find all the Flutter example apps here. So it has around 50 apps now. So after that, I also upload future videos to this particular repository as well, because you can click on the video link from here and you can go to that particular tutorial link, and you have the repository link also with this repository. So this is one thing. And then again, our Let's Flutter group is growing a very it is growing very fast in the past week, and I will ask you to join it if you have queries like how to do such anything. So you can ask here, people will definitely answer you. You can see we have a lot of questions every day, and I myself try to answer most of them, and other people are also very helpful for your question, for answering your questions. So you can join this group as well. So let me just show you. I have a picture with me of Instagram. So we will see how it actually looks. So one second. So this is the picture I took from my Instagram profile. So this is how Instagram actually looks. Okay, one second. And let me just show you what we will make. So we will make something like this, and let's just try to compare. Okay, so one second guys, let me just make it a little bit like this. Then we have this. Okay, so this is the original one on your left hand side, and uh, this is the clone one on your right hand side. So this is what we will be making. So it is not exactly the same, but I mean, the fonts are same, and I have tried to uh, at least have something like that. Not exactly the same, but yeah, this would be like something like this. So okay, so we will be making this in this video, and let's start. Okay, so I am back to my VS Code. So before proceeding, let me just tell you one more thing, one good news, that this Dart code plugin which you get from VS Code is having now this launch emulator thing. So you can press Command Shift P or Control Shift P, and here you will see, if you will type launch, then you have this launch emulator. If I'll click it, then it will show all the emulators available. Okay, so this was pretty handy. Earlier I used to do used to have this command line. By a command line I actually used to launch the emulator. So let's start with the development now. Okay, so we have this boilerplate code, as you can see, which comes with our default project when we create our project for the first time. So let me just delete this part of the code. Okay. Okay, so now we have just this void main method which has this class myapp, which is not available as of now. So what we can do, we can make it, right? So let's do it. So first of all, I will make it a stateless widget, and this will be my app. Inside this we will have this material app widget, which is actually needed to give our uh, app a material look. So we will give it a title. So yeah, so I'll also explain some of the things which you might not be knowing. So many of you asked me that what this title do actually. So let me just tell you, this is not the app name. Okay, so what this title do is like when you click on recent apps in your phone. Okay, so suppose this is my phone which I'm going to show you. 1 second guys. So 1 second. uh, why my phone is not coming? Okay, so there is some issue with connection of the phone. So suppose you click on recent apps in your phone, then you have a lot of apps available in your screen in stack. So there is a title on every app, and that title is this title. Okay, so this is how it works. So after that we will have this show checked banner, and we will make it false, which is the banner on the top right side. And then the thing is that we will have a home, obviously. So I can call it new Insta home, maybe Insta home. Okay, we will make this. So this is what we have as of now. But the thing is, the most important part here is the theme. So if you have seen Instagram, and let me just show you again. So it has like every text is like black, icons are also black. So these are basically outline icons, most of it. So we need some everything black. Okay, so we can say here that our theme would be new theme data. Here we will say the primary color. Okay, it will be, let's say, colors dot black. Okay, because we are dealing with only black colors. Then we will have the primary icon theme. So we can say icon theme data. Okay, and here we can say colors dot black. Okay, this is fine again. And then we can have a primary text theme. Okay, and here we can have a text theme, and then we can have a title. So I will write here, not title, we can say here title would be, let's say, text style. Okay, and then we can give it a color for the title's text style. So we can say here black. Okay, and then we will have another text theme. Okay, this is just a primary text theme. Then we can have another text theme. Let's also set this, and we can say text theme, title, text style. Actually we don't need this, but again, it's a better practice. Okay, what actually happened, we have two cursors now, why? Okay, so colors dot black. Okay, fine. So this is what we have. Now one more thing is that we need a font for Instagram, because if you see this particular screen, then you can see this has a font which is this stories and watch all written. So this is a font which is called Avani. Okay, so we will need this Avani font. So actually I decompiled Instagram, and I found this font, so you don't have to do this. Okay, we are just doing it for educational purpose. Okay, so what we will do, we will make a folder here in this directory, and we can call it assets. Okay, inside assets we will have another folder, we can say fonts, and inside font we will have a font. Okay, so I have some fonts. Let's just copy and paste them. So this is our first font, Avanity medium, and another one, Avanity regular, although we are only going to use this regular font. Okay, and then earlier we used to have the Billabong font in our previous Instagram versions, like the old one. When the Instagram revamped itself, then the font changed. Okay, so we have these two fonts, and apart from that I don't think we have actually two more fonts, but we don't actually need to show in the video because we won't be using that. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's go to our pubspec.yaml, where we need to declare these fonts. Okay, so what we can do here is we can just go below, and here we have these fonts. Okay, so we need to, let's just do one thing. Let's just uncomment all of these. Okay, now in the fonts family, okay, we actually can do is, in the family we can say Avani. Okay, it's totally your wish what name you want to give. Let's just comment this code as well. Okay, we don't need this. Fine. So in the assets you have the folder has one more folder which is assets slash fonts and then the name of the font. So name of our font is Avni. No, it is wrong. Avni T regular. Okay, and let me just see again. Avni T regular dot OTF. Okay, so this is our first font and the style would be style is normal. Okay, and we are going to use that only. Okay, so if you want to add another font, then you can write asset slash font slash let's say Avanity medium. So Avanity medium dot OTF. Okay, so this will be our second font and style would be italic. So when we will use this italic style, then this font will be applied for this family, and if you will use normal font, then this font will be applied. So again, this Avanity medium is not italic, so this is just to make you understand that this is how you can use different styles. Okay, so let's go back to our main dot, and here in the primary text theme, after color we can also say after color, one second, we can also say font family, and here I can say Avenue. Okay, so this is fine, we are done, and this is what we need. Okay, now we need to make Insta home. Okay, we don't have any Insta home as of now, so let's make the home. Okay, before that, one more thing I want to do is I want to import one more library which is font awesome. So we will need those fonts as well. So here below this Cupertino icons I can say font underscore awesome underscore Flutter. Okay, and this will import font awesome library for me. Okay, this is fine. So now we are done with this part. Now what we need is actually we need to go to our lib folder and we will create another file. We can call it Insta Home. Okay, so Insta Home dot, and I will also advise you to make different files for to handle your code, because it can be very complicated in that nested tree, so you have to decouple it if you can do it. Okay, so the best idea is like make different classes and distribute your code here and there. Okay, so now we have this Insta Home. So first of all, what we will do, we will import the material dot, and then we will what we can do, we will have a class, so it will be again a stateless class. We can call it Insta Home. Now here in the main dot we will say Insta Home, we will import it. So imported the library, here you can see Insta Home, and now what we can do, we can create another few things like this will be returning a new scaffold. Okay, we know that. So scaffold, and inside that we will have an app bar. Okay, so we will make an app bar for it first. So here on the top I will make a variable which will be a final variable. So final top bar. Okay, top bar, one second guys, what's happening? Okay, so we can say new app bar. Okay, and inside this app bar we will have some things like these things. Okay, so here you can see we have a background color which is one second guys, while okay, so we have a background color property where we have set this color which is nearly white. Okay, then our center title is true, which means the title would be appear in the center. Then we have an elevation which is 1.0. In the leading we have set the icon as camera alt, and then we have a title which is again an image which is Insta logo, so we need to have that logo. Okay, so in the assets we will create another folder which is images, and here we need this Insta logo. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to paste the Instagram logo here. So now you can see this is the logo Instagram, and this is what we are using here. But we need to do one more step in the Pubspec YAML. We need to define this asset. Okay, So here I will just uncomment this line, and I can say here assets slash images slash insta logo dot png. Okay, so this is what we need to do, and now we are done. So after that we have actions where we have only one button, which is the send button. So here icon is send, and we have also given it a right margin of 12. So this is what we will be having right now, and in this scaffold we will have an app bar where we can say this is just a top bar. So now let's run this application for the first time and see what output we got, and then the emulator will be there all the time. So here I'm going to start my Pixel 2 and let's see how it looks. So this is my Pixel 2 XL, which you will see in few seconds. Yeah, so here we have this Pixel 2 XL. One second guys. Oh, it's a little difficult to expand it, right? Okay, so we have this Pixel 2 XL, and now we will run our application on this Pixel 2 XL. So let's run it. I know my tutorials are a little bit lengthy, but I try to explain each and everything. That is why they are lengthy. And today I am just going to cut and paste some code here and there, but I will try to explain every bit of it, so you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so we have this. This is taking some time. So by the time, so what we did, we had some fonts which we used in this repository which we are creating, and then we have this image which is the Insta logo. So this is not actually the font as far as I know in the Instagram, and this is actually the logo which they made. So because I tried to find this font but I couldn't find anything like this, and that is why we are using this. So if we see now, okay, so this is our screen, and this is looking good. Yeah, it is similar to Instagram somehow. I know if this is entire Instagram. So now we will come to the body part, and in the body, let's say just a container, because this is empty as of now. Now we also have a bottom navigation bar Instagram. So let's see this again, and you can see we have this 5 bottom navigation bar items. So what we can do, we can say here bottom navigation bar, then we can say new. Okay, so inside this what we will do, we will have something like a container, and inside that container we will have a row, and in that row we will have some of the icons. Okay, so I know this is kind of confusing, but let me just do it. So this is what it will look like. Okay, I know a lot of code. Okay, so let's see what actually we did. So we have a bottom navigation bar. Inside that we have a new container, and the color is white. Okay, height is 50. Okay, you can change it if you want. Alignment is center. Okay, not an issue. You can also, if we delete this line, then nothing will happen actually, because everything is already centered. Okay, so in the child we have this bottom app bar. So inside that bottom app bar we have a row. Okay, in the row we have told it to space around, so you can read that it will place the free space evenly, okay, between the childrens. And one more thing is that let's also try to change it so we can see the results. And you can see there was some padding on the left and right, which is removed by this space between. So space around will give a little bit padding in the left and right as well with between these buttons. Okay, so this is the you can say difference. And in the children we have few icon buttons. So first one is home button. These are the default icons which comes with the library itself, this material library. Okay, then we have a search icon, then we have an add box, and on every on pressed we have set it in null, so that the icon appears like grayish. Okay, so that it looks like it is disabled. And for home it is enabled, so we have implemented on press, but it's nothing there inside it. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Okay, so this is our bottom app bar. Now we need a body. Okay, so for that what we will do, we will say this a new insta body. Okay, because we don't want to make this code complicated. So let's leave this class like this, and this is I guess how many lines of code, 65 or 66 line of code, and that is sufficient for a class. So now what we will do here in this file, we can say insta body dot. Okay, now we have this insta body dot, and now what we need to do, we will create a new stateless widget. So first of all, we will import material dot. Okay, where it is, yeah, and then we will have another stateless class. We can call it insta body. That is good, that's a good name, right? And then that's fine. Now in the insta home, we will just import this library, and the error will go. Boom. Yeah, so error is gone. Now we have this insta body. So now we have the top and the bottom. Now we have to deal with this body part. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, we will return a new column. Okay, why column, I will just explain you. So this is what we are going to do. So in the column, we have just insta list in the flexible widget, so that it can, it should be flexible. So we want to actually control how it will look. So we'll talk about it. So we have an insta list, which will be a list having two things. First one, if you see here, then we have this normal list with these photos, if you have seen Instagram, and we also have stories. So both of these things are scrollable. So it is not like that stories is not scrollable and only this portion is scrollable. So both of these are scrollable if you see Instagram. So we need to make them scrollable, so that is why we have this insta list. Okay, so now the main target is making insta list and insta stories. Okay, yeah, cool. So what we can do, what we should make first. Okay, let's make another class here. Let's call it insta list dot. Okay, and let's make one more class here. We can say insta stories dot. So we have these two classes, and insta body does not understand what is insta list. What the hell is this? Okay, so what we will do in this insta list, what we can do, first of all, we will import material dot, and we will make a stateless widget as we are doing. So we can call it insta list. Similarly, in insta stories, we will do the same thing. We will import material dot, and again we will make a stateless widget calling insta story. Why we are making stateless? Because as of now this is just a UI clone, so we are not dealing with any data or states, so that is why. Okay, so we have these things ready now. We have insta stories, we have a insta list. Okay, now let's go back to body where it is showing some error, and let's import our insta list. Okay, now we are done. Now, okay, so error is gone. Now let's go back to our insta list. Here we need to have a list, and also we need to have a lot of things like we will have a list view builder and everything. So let's build that. Okay, so first of all, we will have a list view dot builder. Okay, inside that we will have some item counts. So let's assume we have 4 items in the list, so we will make it 5. Okay, it can be any number of items, but we will make it plus one for stories. Okay, that is what I am going to do. And then we will have an item builder, which will take a context and an index, and that's it. Okay, now what we are going to do, we will see if we have index is 0. Okay, if index is 0, which means we want to show the stories. Okay, then we will do something. Okay, let's say new stories. Otherwise, if index is not 0, then we will show our normal list. So we can say just a column of lists. Okay, this is what we have. Fine. Okay, so now if you see here, this stories does not mean anything. Okay, so what we can say, let's just show these stories first only. So we can say a new sized box. Okay, inside that we can give a child. We can say insta stories. Okay, why I have set this sides box? Because we want to give a height for that stories portion, right? We need to set some height. So if you see here, these stories definitely have some height. Okay, that's one thing. So we have this child, and now let's just import this part, and yeah, that is fine. Now we need to give it a height. So what we will do, if you see here, this height is like we can take the device height and then we can arrange it. So we will see that. So now let's go to Insta stories and let's make the Insta stories first. Okay, so that it can be a pain after that. So let's not take the pain. Okay, so okay, we have here a container, which is good. Then what we can do, we will have some things like let me just copy some code for you, and let's just paste it. Boom. So we have a margin of 16 from all the side. If you see here, we have some margins on the top, on the left, on the right, and on the bottom as well. So that is the margin 16. Then we have a child which takes a column. So why the column? So that first element can be these texts, and then we will have these images, which is a horizontal list view. Okay, so we have in the children, one is the top text, and then we have the stories. Okay, so we can just skip the stories part for the time being. Now let's work on the top text. Okay, so we will go on the top, and we can write here final top text. Okay, now here we know that this is a row, okay, which has or which has basically stories and watch all. Okay, so this is a row. So let's do something here. We can first of all, we will have two components. First one is the stories one, and then second one is this watch all thing. Okay, then watch all again has two elements. One is this play button, and then this watch all text. So let's just break it one by one. So first of all, we will have one element which is the stories. Okay, so we can say main axis alignment. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it will be main axis alignment would be space between. Then we will have our children here. In the children, we will have two things. One is stories part, and one is the next part, which is watch all. So here we can say normal text. Okay, here I can say stories. Okay, and we also want it to be bold, and let's write here new text style and font weight. So font weight would be bold, and yeah, this is fine. So if you see here, the text color is already black, if because and the font is already this Avani font, which is because of we in the main dot have set it the text theme to have a color of black, and font family is already Avani, so that we don't have to do it manually everywhere. Okay, so this is done. Okay, now we have, if you see, we have this stories part covered. Now this watch all has already two things. One is the icon and one is the that text. So we will take another row here. Okay, and then we will have again two widgets. So this is the row which has two children. One is this play arrow, and then is another text watch all. So we are done with this top text part. Now we need to make stories. Okay, so let's make it. So let's just uncomment this code as well, and now let's move here, and now we can say final stories. So the main thing is that you have to visualize. So if you see this screen, then we had this top bar which we visualized, then we had this bottom navigation bar, then we have this two part there are two things in the body. One is the top part, which consists of some stories, and then we have a list. So this is how we will visualize it, then we will break it. So this is how we are breaking it. Now we are into the stories part. So here, first of all, because we are having a column, so we can take here expanded or flexible. So you cannot take expanded or flexible anywhere. You need to be, the parent widget should be column or row. Okay, so we can say expanded because we want to expand the list of the stories. Okay, so that it won't show you that issue like you overflowed by this many pixels. Okay, so that can be issue. Okay, so here we will have a child. Okay, and inside first of all we can say new list view dot builder. Okay, because we want a list, of course we want. Okay, now let's have some item count here, or we can first of all let's give it a scroll direction. So direction would be horizontal this time, and then we will have some item count. So give it a random item count like 5. We will have 5 stories, and then we will have this item builder, which will take a context and an index. Okay, and now what we need to do. So first thing is that if you see here we have 5 images, but for the first image we also have a button on the top of it. Okay, so that's the tricky part, that for first image whichever it will be, it is basically yours story, and these all 4 are random stories by different persons. So you can create your story. That is why we have this plus button. We are not going to implement that implementation of this plus button, but we want to show it because we are making the UI part. So how we will do it? So for that purpose we will use stack. Okay, only for the first item. Okay, then we can see what we want to do. Okay, so we will use a stack, and then let's see what actually happens. So what we can say here, let's go back. We can say new stack. Okay, so we are into the stack, and we will give it a alignment, because if we see here, one second, and I will say it bottom right. So why bottom right? Because this plus icon is at the bottom right part. Okay, we are done. Now it will take some children. Okay, first one is obviously going to be the images. So what we will do, we will take a container. Okay, and inside that container we will give it some properties. So this is our container. So this, we have this container which has a width of 60, height of 60. So this is basically this images size. And then we have a decoration property where we are saying that the shape is circle, because this is a circular image. And then fit, box fit is fill, which means that image will cover the overall box. And then we have an image which we are fetching from a random URL, which is why we are saying network image. And yeah, it has a margin also from horizontal 8.0. Now it is still giving me an error. Why is that? Okay, what we have done wrong? So before fixing that, let me just explain right why the error is coming. Or maybe it is coming because of this list, because this is blank. Okay, we will see it. There is not an issue. So now we have this part covered with images. Okay, now this is the one thing, like this is the first stack where we have this all images. Now for only the first image we want this second part, widget on this stack. Okay, so what we can say here, so after this container we can say if index is 0. Okay, once again, so if index is 0, then we want to show that particular plus button. So we can say plus button. Okay, otherwise what we will do, we don't have to show anything, so we can say just new container. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Now we will need to implement this plus button. Okay, so if you see here, this is definitely a circle, and inside that we have a plus icon. So what we can say here, we can say let's say a position widget, because we will give it position. So from right, let's give it a 10, and then we will have a child where we will have a circle avatar, and we will say background color, which is colors dot blue accent, because that is a blue color which I was watching. Radius would be 10 again. Okay, and then we will have a child where we will have a icon, and again I am using somewhere new and somewhere not, so it's totally optional now, so you can use new if you want, otherwise you can skip it too. Now let's give it a size also. So size is almost 14, and the color of that plus icon is actually white. Okay, so now we are done with this stories part, but we still have the issue. This is because we have a list where we have this you can see Insta stories, but this column is blank, and this is not able to understand why you have used this expanded and everything. So let's just try to restart and see if this issue fixes. So now, oh, now this issue is not yet fixed, but we know that we have done the part. Okay, so now if we see we have everything, let's also give it a little bit padding on the top. So we will add padding, and this will be from only the top, so we can say only and then top. Okay, so as of now you are not able to see the results because we need to implement this column part. Okay, then only you will be able to see the result, because I have changed the code. Like, I did not write it like this when I was making this application earlier. So I have changed the code, that is why I cannot say it. But if I am sure that if when we will complete this, then you would be able to see this. The reason is actually because we are using the different sizes. We are using somewhere expanded, but actually there is nothing to expand. Okay, so if you see, there is nothing to expand because we don't have any item. So what we could do, we could use some empty widgets with some fixed heights, so then you would be able to see it. But again, so what we need to do, first of all, we need to give this Insta story some height. Okay, if once we will give it a height, then probably it will fix this issue. So let's do one thing. We will go to our this Insta list class where I am right now, and now let's give it a height. So if you see here, it has some height of the device size, 1% of device size, even lesser than that. So what we can say here, we can first of all retrieve the device size rather than give it a static height. Or let's see, let's set the height by itself, by ourselves, sorry. And let's see if that fixes the issue. Then we will give it, so let's say it 100. And now you can see there is the images now available, but because of the height it was not appeared. But this is not some height which I want, so now I will set it 150. Maybe it look better than, and it is looking better. But what I want it to dependent on the device size, not some random size which I will give it, because it can perform differently if we have a smaller screen size or a larger screen size. So what I can say, I will take a variable device size, not here, while the rendering will be done. So here what I can say, media query dot of context dot size. Okay, and yeah, done. So now here in the height, what we can say, device size dot height. Okay, whatever its height is, and let's multiply it by 1. Okay, so it will give the overall height. But it's not good because we don't want the exact height. Okay, we want only 10% of the height. So let's say 0.1, and you can see it is not still a very good height. So let's increase it to 0.2. Oh, it gave me so much space now, so it should be between 0.1 and 0.2. So let's 0.15, and this is what we want. So if you see here, this is something which we want, and more of the size will be actually adjusted once we will complete our layout. Okay, so we are done with this stories part. Now we need to go to this second column where we need to but we need to show our list. Okay, list of all the items here, which will be the basically the pictures which users upload on Instagram. with this like button and everything. Okay, so what we need to understand is, let's see what is included here. So basically there are three rows. Okay, first one is this row where we have this icon and the name of the person who has uploaded this pic, and on the right hand side we have these three dots. So this is the first row. Second row we have a full image. Okay, full screen image, not from if you compare the, so full width image. Okay, so this is a full width image where this image covers all the width. And then in the third row we have these three icons on the left and one icon on the right. In the fourth row we have this text which is saying liked by this many person. And we have another row which is fifth row, where we have again two columns. One is this name of the person and one comment. And then we have this another row which is having just a text one day ago, which is actually the time span. So technically we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 rows. And then we have, in the first row we have these three columns. Then we have in this third row we have two columns, one for this all components or widgets and one for this. So this is how we will make this UI. Okay, so first of all what I am going to do, I am going to give it some of the properties which are main axis alignment should be start, like this will start from here as the column. So main axis alignment is, it's the vertical one. And then main axis size should be minimum. Okay, and the cross axis alignment should stretch, so which means that our row will be stretched. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we need to implement this children property. So this column has 5 rows. Okay, so first of all we need to make some, let's give it a padding first. Okay, so here, so what we are going to do, so here we will give it a padding first of all. Okay, so we can say const as insects dot from ltrb is left, top, right, bottom. So we will give some padding. So from the left we will have some 16 padding, and then we will have some 16 from the top as well, then 16 from 8 from the right, and then 16. Okay, so let's see what how it looks. So let me just give it 16 16 8 and then 16. Okay, it should fix something. Okay, so we have a child property where we will have a row. Okay, so this is what we have. And why it is giving me issue or error, let's just press Ctrl F5, and yes, the error is gone. Okay, so we have this row now. Inside this row what we need to have, we need to actually have something like, you can say there's three things. First one will be the image, then the name of the person, and then this another image. Okay, so let's take this row here, and let me just copy and paste some code for you. So one second guys. Okay, so we have this row, we have some extra columns I guess. Yeah, what the heck happened? Oh my god. Okay, so now if you can see, we have these 5 items. For every item we have a row. So inside this row, if you see, the space between is called, so it has some children. So there is another row which has 2 children, which is, first one is the container with this image, which is basically circle image with this image URL. And then we have a space of 10 pixels, and then we have this text, I am the PK. Okay, and then at the end we have this icon button, which is the more option menu button. Okay, so this is our first row. Okay, then we will have another row. So if you see here, this column has 5 elements. I already told you, 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5. So this is what we need to do. So first we have first row. Now we will need a second column with the with this image property. Okay, so we will take a flexible image, a flexible property, and we will before after this padding we can use this. Okay, we don't want any padding because our image won't be having any padding. Okay, right? So you can see now we have this image with every of our you can see we have 5 elements or 4 elements. One is for the stories and others. Okay, let me just also give it a little bit more size so you can adjust this height. Okay, it's totally on you. Okay, fine. So this is now looking much better, and now we have another column here, the another row of this column. So this row is actually having this image, and there is no padding because this actually in Instagram it covers full width. Okay, now we will have another row. Okay, and again we will have some kind of padding. So after this flexible widget, let me just make something like a comment first row. Okay, then we have this second row, because this is actually, this will help you in uh, constructing it in a more better way. Third row. Okay, so inside this third row what we are going to do, we will be taking another padding. Okay, and inside that we will have some rows. Okay, so we are using some font or some icons here, so we need to import these icons. So first of all we will import font awesome flutter, font awesome dot flutter. Now we are done. Okay, in the third row if you see, what's the error here, is it defined here? Okay, why, I don't know what's the issue. Font awesome icons, it is good. Oh, it is fine actually. I don't know why it is not taking these icons. What happened? Maybe we need to restart the app. This can be one thing. Okay, heart. Okay, it does not have the heart 0. Why? I don't know, man. So why these outline icons are not available? I don't know. We will try it again. So let's see. So let me just explain again. So we have in the third row this padding. We are giving 16 padding everywhere. Okay, this is fine for me, I guess. And then we will have this row. Okay, the row have space between property if you see, and then we have one row for these 3 items and another row and another for this element. Okay, so we have the one row where we have this heart, the comment, and the paper plane icon, and for the second one we have this bookmark icon. Okay, so this is how it actually works. Let me just refresh it. I don't know why it is giving some error. Now it is fine. Yeah, so this is looking good, right? Okay, so cool. So now our image is taking some time to load. It's not an issue. So we are done with this another row. Now we need a fourth row. Okay, so fourth row we have just a text which is liked by this many persons. So it also have some kind of padding from the left and right. So we will give it a horizontal padding, and this will be our text like by Pawan Kumar and all. You can see this. Now we will have the fifth row, and we can say fifth row. Okay, in this fifth row we will have something like one this image, and the another part is this add a comment text field. So we will take, and it also has some kind of padding, right? So let me just paste this here. So we have this padding again, and you can see it has a row. Inside that row we have 2 widgets. First one is similar to what we have used earlier, a container with height and width, and then image inside it. And then we have something called as expanded, because this add a comment thing is expanded, and here actually I can write something. Okay, so this is working, and this comment has a text field. This is composed of this text field where there is no input border, so we have used input border dot none, and hint text is add a comment. Okay, this is fine. Now we are moving to our sixth row, which is the last one, where it is just written the time span which is 1 day ago. So what we can do, we can use another padding element, because there is also a padding. Because why we can't have a global padding, because our image does not have a padding. So what we could do, if all the column elements have that padding, then we can use it inside that column. But because all of those are not having the same padding, that is why we had to do it manually. So here it is just a text 1 day ago, and the color is gray. So that's it, guys. We have actually made this clone UI, if you see. So this home is only working as of now, but we can we can see, or you can also experiment with this, and you can make other part of this UI. But our Instagram clone is ready finally, and let's also try it on let's say iOS simulator, and I also explain it how it will look there. So I have iOS, so that is why I'm showing you, otherwise I would not have shown you this. Okay, so this is our iOS simulator device, where it is gone. Oh my god. Okay, here we have. So 1 second, let me just push it there, and then we will run this app, otherwise this will be gone. Why I'm not able to even drag it. Okay, 1 second, guys. Oh, it is gone. So let me just run this device, run this app on iOS, and we'll see what output we get here. Where is the phone? I don't know. 1 second, guys. It is somewhere here. Okay. Why it is hiding? I don't know. Okay, so this is taking some time to run. Till that time, this code will be available on GitHub. Please do check Flutter example apps repository, and this link will be available on that repository as well. And the code will be open source. You can contribute. You can change it if you want. You can add more menu pages for this. So this is looking good in this particular iOS simulator as well. If you see, it is taking some time to load the images, but we can obviously show some you can say any default image while it is loading. So this is how it is looking. Let me just scroll, and you can see stories is also scrolling, because this is also the part of the list view. We are just checking the index, and that's it. So this is what we were able to make, and it does not take that long. This could be difficult for Android or iOS development, and because I am explaining this, because that is why it is taking more time. Otherwise, if you are doing it alone, and yeah, boom, it will be done in few hours or in a couple of hours. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Please make sure to join our Facebook group. Also make sure to subscribe to our channel, and make sure to star the repository, and press the bell icon as well. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and keep fluttering.